Hello my beautiful souls, welcome to my channel. My name is Sanja, and before we start, this content might be triggering to some, so if you need to, skip this video. Today I'm going to talk about some of the red signs, some of the red flags as they call it, not red signs, red flags, that maybe you can start being aware of when it comes to choosing your partner or your friend or whoever you want to spend time with. And I know when I look back, I always look back as, oh, I knew these were red flags. I have this intuition in me that I was supposed to listen to. I knew that from the start, but I was ignoring it. And a lot of us do have this intuition that obviously we need to start listening to. I once made a short about this and someone said I was acting. I'm like, no, because I didn't listen to my intuition and I should have. So I had those red flags from the start that at the time I didn't even know they were called red flags, that at the time I thought, well, maybe I should give them a second chance, third, fourth, etc. and etc. But for those who don't have that feeling, don't have that alarms, even if they try to shove them away, just to explain to you, both from male and female perspective, it doesn't matter what gender you are or if you're something else, it's just when you're looking at someone, choosing it, a person, obviously everything comes from you. And this is why I always said, someone asked me, how can an empath attract a narcissist? Well, an empath is, they've both been through traumas, they both obviously had difficulties, and someone needs to, it's one thing to have empathy, it's a different thing to be like an empath. And you can Google it. Anyway, I don't want to get into many details because I've covered this before, and I'll link that video down below somewhere. But what I want to cover is that question, like, how can empath attract a narcissist? Well, if you don't work on yourself, if you don't work on healing, if you have low self-esteem, if you don't value yourself high, if you don't think you're worth that much, if you're more being in the low vibration than high, and if you can't really even say that you love yourself because obviously, maybe you can say it but you don't feel it, you're going to attract someone that is going to be complementary to what you're feeling. So if you don't have self-worth, if you're feeling that you're not worthy of loving yourself, if you have resentment or even guilt is such a low vibration. And I had to deal with this much later than, I didn't even realize I was carrying this guilt, because for me, guilt came in, how did I let someone like that into my life? Why wasn't I listening to myself from the beginning? This is, it was easier to forgive these people than to let go of that guilt I was carrying inside, that I wasn't even necessarily aware of the fact that I was carrying it. So if you have those low vibrations, narcissists are the people who are low vibrationally most of the time. So you vibrationally match. So you don't think highly of yourself, this person isn't going to think highly of yourself. You don't love yourself, you don't have self-love, you don't have self-respect. You're going to find someone that won't respect you, that won't properly love you, so on and so on. So if you had those types of questions, that's how. So you can be, let's say, a good person, nice person, good to everyone else but yourself. You're going to find a person, most likely, that is going to, just add on to your wounds, so to speak. Okay, take care of me as well first, like you don't ever come first. So I should really open a window, I'm struggling to breathe here. So that's the one of the red signs that you should be really pay attention to, is how this person is speaking of other people. There are so many, if it's one thing if you share these things with, I don't know, someone in your family, or let's say your sister or your brother or someone you really trust, and you want to let them know what's going on, your best friend, and someone that you want to let them know what's going on, that's one thing. But let's say you meet someone, this could be potentially your partner or your future one of the best friends, or someone, let's say, new comes into your life, you don't know much about them, And from the start, they start complaining, whether about themselves or about other people, especially if they're degrading, I don't know, their exes, or, you know, I remember meeting this person like on the streets. My daughter said hello, she said hello back, the conversation started within 2 minutes, without me even asking that, without even that being part of the topic. So we've known each other to, let's say, even 5 minutes stops. It was less than that. We were still there, you know, on the road trying to go back home. Anyway, she told me something so, like, the worst thing that happened to her, that, you know, I can't even imagine what pain goes through that. But I'm thinking, like, we just met. And, you know, there are people who want to share their stories straight away, but I didn't even invite you over for a coffee. You didn't even invite me either. We don't know each other. I don't know anything about you. Maybe I just learned your name, or, you know, it's the first thing that this person shared and just like blurted it out, as if, you know, I always try to, especially the people that I don't know, and especially me, you know, people that I maybe briefly know, or to not maybe share everything, and especially not the bad things. And I want to lift these people up. I want to share the good stuff. If we're gonna be there on the street for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and we're gonna go each to our own way, I want it to be light. I want it to be positive. We're not gonna be here for 2 hours. And again, even if it were the first 2 hours, but we're not, first time seeing each other, never seen this person before, even, you know, never, like the first time, at least not to my knowledge. Second, like, we just spoke for 2 minutes with my daughter there. This wasn't even the topic. I just couldn't, I was standing there and thinking, this does not go to say that she's a bad person. This does not go to say that, you know, she's awful. But it is a red flag. And I had in my life, let's say, choosing a partner, someone that really would speak low of their exes. And at the time, because again, I was naive and, you know, I was like, oh, poor you, oh, that must have been hard for you, that must have been terrible, that must have been awful, that, without even realizing, hang on a minute, again, we don't know each other that much. And, you know, it's not like explaining the situation of what happened. It's like bad mouthing this person. And you always want to know, especially if someone is bad mouthing that part. First of all, if they're bad mouthing anyone to like really low degree, instead of just explaining the situation, if something like that is being brought up and asked, like, first of all, if they're just bad mouthing, like, just try to remove yourself, because they're going to be bad mouthing you regardless, whether you're just friends, develop any sort of relationship, anything that is slightly bad, they're probably gonna, you know, put lots of sparkles and seasoning and whatnot. And what did I want to say? I forgot now. But anyway, they never ever, let's say, I'll start from my example. I don't like, even when someone is asking me, let's say, about the previous relationship and what happened, even with my friendships, I have removed so many people from my life that I had already the feeling for years that this isn't it, that they might not be my friends anymore, which does not mean to say that our friendship before that was bad. It's just, you know, come to an end, let's sort of speak. And I remember when my partner asked me about it, like, what happened? Why did you? Because I just informed that I'm no longer friends with this person. I don't want to contact, chat, whatever, you know, just, you know, I always make sure this person knows. I always make sure I explain it in a nice way. I wish them the best, especially like inside my head. Wish you the best life possible. Wish you all the love, the joy, the healing, the high vibrations. I always want to know that I gave my all. And even when I make sure I never speak to them again, in my head, I always like, I'm wishing you all the best. I don't wish you any harm. Even if you did me harm, I don't wish you any harm, because I'm not gonna lower myself down to your level. And yes, this could be ego speaking, but still, it does not serve me to become someone like you that I don't like anymore. So I'm hoping, if you are one of those people who said, oh, they did me wrong, they didn't know how wrong I can do them, why would you lower yourself to that level? Don't be the abuser. Don't be the people that did something bad to you. Now you're like, oh, it's payback time or whatever. Again, you're now becoming the same as they are, maybe even worse, because you want to do more damage to them because you can, or because, you know, no. So make sure when you're thinking about someone, what type of a person do you want to be? And most likely, if this is someone has done you wrong, or you don't want to be associated with this person or whatever, you don't want to become like that. You don't want to do the things that they did to you. You know, when they say, well, they cheated on me, now I'm gonna cheat on them with their best friend or whatnot, you're becoming like them. Like, if they could cheat on me, I can cheat on them. Why? Like, just, if you can't end a relationship, it doesn't, but why would you become a cheater in a relationship? Just because they did you wrong, you don't have to become the person like they are. I'm really hoping that that will, click and sink and, etc., etc. So please be aware of that. Don't become like a person that you don't like. That's like please, I know, please think about it. So always wish them well, always wish them the best. I always in my head wish them healing in high vibration, because if people don't cheat and harm the people that they're in a relationship with, because like, unless they're like psychopaths and they don't have a feeling, but nothing other than they are hurt inside, and they don't really think of the consequences that it's going to be on the other people. They don't really express the empathy as much to the other people, because they're deeply hurt. Again, not from you, probably something that goes back to their childhood. So if they were to heal, they wouldn't do these things anymore. If they were vibrating high on love, on joy, on appreciation, on those high vibrations. I didn't turn my phone off. Let's do that now. There you go. If they were to vibrate that high, they would not do this. When I was young, my teenage years, I remember I was in a relationship with this guy that I knew I don't want to be in a relationship anymore, because there was someone else I wanted to be in a relationship with, teens, so, and I did not want to cheat, and this person that I was with was not in town, was somewhere else, and I didn't ever want to end up a conversation over the phone. I mean, that's just, for me, disrespectful. I don't know, maybe nowadays maybe it's become the norm, I don't know, but for me it's disrespectful. Like, speak face to face with someone. And unless there may be abusers or whatnot, and then you don't want to, be anywhere near them. But I knew this person wasn't like that. Also didn't know I knew I didn't want to end it over the phone. So I waited them to come back into the town for days. I don't know how long it's been, but for days, for me to break up with them before I even kissed the guy that I wanted to be with, and that we knew we wanted to be with each other. But I said no. And again, I didn't have to do that. Like, I could have just started a relationship with this guy, and then when this guy would to come back, just to say, oh, by the way, we're breaking up. But I just didn't have it in me, and I don't mind that. Like, I find it a good quality, that you don't want to disrespect the person, even if you're ending the relationship, and even if you maybe will never see each other again, even if you do. But I just don't, from my side, I don't want to put that disrespect onto someone. And that's what I viewed as respecting a person. So I just waited for them to come. Didn't even say that, it's just, this isn't working anymore, I don't feel it, whatever. I don't even know what I said, but I remember waiting for them to come. I never go into discussions. I never attack someone like, it's because of you, it's because you did this, it's because you did that. This isn't working anymore. Or I found the sentence that I never got to use, which does not mean I'll never use. But it was just so like, oh, I wish I had this before. If someone is not being good to you, and you know now, and you know you've decided that's it, you know you don't want to be with this person anymore, and especially if they're narcissistic, have narcissistic personality or not, just to say, what was it like, in a sense, I'm paraphrasing, but in the sense of it happened what happened, I felt what I felt, it is what it is, and like, not just to make a big fuss out of it, not to point fingers, not to point, just plainly, simply, this isn't working out anymore. We're not suited to be with one another, because obviously, I mean, for narcissists, they just want probably, you know, servants and whatnot, and, you know, people to always put them first, and, you know, this person to just neglect themselves, which in the again happens because that's what they bring on in the relationship. But if you decide that that's it, like, I'm not going to be this person anymore, not go, oh well, because you did this, you did that, and this happened and that happened, and because most likely they won't change, and a lot of and they knew what they did, let's put it that way. A lot of them, they knew, they just pretend like, oh, you know, I did nothing wrong, and, you know, nothing bad happened, and you're like, sure you did. You know what happened. So just, it isn't working out anymore. I tried, obviously we're not the best people for each other. So not just you're not the best for me, or not, I'm not the best for you. You know, people put themselves into that like defensive victim mode, whatever it is. Like, obviously I'm not the best for you. Like, even that is just lame. Just together, we're not the best people for each other. I think whether we found someone better or not doesn't matter, but our relationship is not working anymore. And, you know, that's it. So, you know, yes, the other party can be upset. They can be, you know, not everyone should be happy about the breakup, like I was once when I ended one relationship. That's a story for a different time. And if you want this story, let me know. Story for a different time. And because anyway, I'm not getting into the story, because then I'll tell the whole story. If you want to know the story, comment, let me know. And so yeah, so the red flags, again, if you don't, this goes into the relationship, like if you're already in one. But so bad mouthing is definitely number one. Definitely. Don't feel sorry for the people. Don't be, oh, poor you had to go through that. You don't know the ex's story. You don't know what the other side of the coin is. Try and figure it out. But I think if they're bad-mouthing that person that badly, I don't think you should go any deeper anyway. Maybe you can just contact their ex and maybe make friends with them. But, you know, just don't go. Second of all, which I also think it's a bad sentence, if someone says, I don't deserve you. I don't deserve you means I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna improve with you. They are like making sure to let you know they honestly do not deserve you. They're not gonna change. They're not gonna do anything in regards to your relationship to be improved. And a lot of the times, especially women, would go, oh, that's so sweet, that's so nice. It's different to say like, what I did to deserve you, you're the best, you're the, you know, awesome, I love you, you're so amazing, like I feel blessed. That's different. When someone says, I don't deserve you, it's a statement. It's letting you know they don't deserve you. So you can just say thank you and go, leave. Don't come back. Don't go near that person. Just say thank you and move on. Because this does not go to low self-esteem. This does not go to low low confidence. It's just them letting you know, this is what you get. I'm not the best fit for you, and I'm never gonna change. I'm never gonna probably even try. Maybe I'm gonna fake it in the beginning that I'm such a nice and good kind person, but essentially long way down the road you'll figure out that I actually told you the truth from the beginning, which is I don't deserve you. So when you hear that, say thank you and leave. Don't find it's something that is so sweet and nice and whatnot. It isn't. Usually people tell you in the beginning who they are, what they're like, but in a sweet type of way that we usually think, oh, that's so sweet, that's so nice, or you're cute, or you're not like that, oh, don't worry about it, or, you know. So pay attention to those little tiny sentences that just pop out in the beginning, and you don't even find them like something bad. Not that anything of this is bad, but it's not fitting for you, and it's not, you know, the best option for you maybe. Yes, this person might down the road change their mind, and they might actually start working on themselves, and maybe, just maybe, they do change into this loving person that you might grow together with and expand with, which does not mean that all of them do, and which does not mean that there isn't, like, out of what, 7 billion people on this planet, 7 plus, however many there are, trust me, there, if someone's letting you know they're not worthy of you, they don't deserve you, there's going to be someone else. There's going to be someone else. So that's the second thing. Third thing is do they do what they say they're going to do? And I've heard this from so many people now on the internet, and I'm sure some of you have heard this as well. However, it's really, really true when I look back on relationships, when I look back on what I allowed, or, you know, even including like being late just because, I don't know, nothing like bad, nothing urgent happened, nothing came up, nothing, they were just late. I find that really disrespectful. I remember once I waited for a mate. We weren't like the best mates or anything, but, you know, we started spending a lot of times together and etc. And let's say we said at 8 we're gonna meet each other. I don't know what time it was. I think I waited almost 2 hours for this person. And I remember thinking, like, after the first hour, which I should have left, you know, much earlier than that. First of all, this person like lives 2 minutes away where we were meeting up. So it's not like, you know, they had to travel an hour or two where there was a traffic, or, you know, they could just walk 2 minutes and they would be there. They were getting ready. They didn't oversleep. Nothing urgent happened. They just started getting ready late, maybe like at 9, even though it said at 8. I mean, I don't really understand. And this wasn't like, oh, let's meet up at 8 and it's 4 o'clock now. No, like, this was arranged. They had time to plan this. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm not gonna say anything bad in terms of, I'm not gonna start arguing now or cause drama, because it's not like, why? But like, I'm not meeting you anymore. Like, if we end up meeting because you're there as well, and, you know, we run into each other, fine. But scheduling to meet each other at a certain time, no. And I'm not even gonna do like, let's do it at 7 and maybe she'll show up at 8, or no, I'm not doing that. Like, no. And again, this just tells me something about a person that is not the narcissist. And also, it's one thing to be late if I always, let's say, especially when you have a child, not, you know, but even when I had a child, I always make sure I go early. And I had a lot of hospital visits with my daughter, and I always, like, even if she pooped in a nappy, like, and we're gonna, you know, go out, which does not take like 2 minutes. If anyone has, you know, babies, or, you know, they know it's just not, you know, you can't do it like in a minute or two. And even then, I would always make sure, like, you know, well, I try to leave earlier. This is probably gonna be on time. And I remember once my taxi didn't arrive, so I told her another one, but I waited for this taxi for a while, and I realized, okay, this isn't, I mean, I don't know what happened, but I called our doctor to say, listen, the taxi's not here, the taxi's late, I'm gonna be probably this minutes late. If you have someone before us, let them in, because we're not going to be able to come here on time. And I waited for a taxi like 40 minutes, and then I'm like, listen, you have to, you know, call someone else. This taxi, I don't know where it end up, but it didn't come. So even then, when something like that happens, I make sure the person knows. And I remember even them telling me, thank you for letting us know, because usually people don't tell us this, and we just keep waiting and waiting like this. It doesn't have to be the doctors, it can be your friend, it can be, I remember even texting my friend recently. We might be, maybe because my daughter wasn't waking up, and this was like an hour before we were supposed to meet. My daughter isn't awake yet, so I'm gonna wake her up now. We will maybe be late for 5 to 10 minutes, maybe not, but I just want to let you know, like, up in front. And we ended up being on time, so it's fine. And even she was like, I thought you were gonna be late. I'm like, well, I did say maybe. Like, I wasn't sure, but I would rather let you know that maybe we're gonna be late than us being late. I honestly don't like that. Like, if you're gonna be late, don't let me wait for you. Just tell me, let me know, send me a text, we're gonna be late. And not we're gonna be late like God knows what amount. Tell me the amount. Tell me 5 minutes, or up to half an hour, up to an hour, maybe in between 3 and 4 hours, like whatever it is. Just let me know. I hate waiting. I hate when nothing's coming. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like you're waiting in line in a bank, that's different, or at the post office or at the store. I don't mind that. Like, there are people in front of me. But if it's waiting for nothing, why am I wasting my time? And and then she texted me back, listen, I've been a snail, I thought you were going to be late, it's going to take us half an hour or something to get ready a little bit, can you just wait, I'll pick you up, you don't have to come here. I'm like, it's fine. So in the meantime, I put the washing to dry, I hoovered my house, I also cleaned the kettle, I don't know, I did few things in between, but I didn't just stand there and wait. So there's, for me, types of things that you do when you respect yourself, your time, but with that comes that you respect other people's time as well. And if you don't respect other people, and if that people show you, or you show it to someone else, work on yourself. These videos are not made to judge you or judge anyone or put shame on you, or just to maybe, let's say, trigger enough so you can look inside of yourself. So maybe you can ask for professional help, so you can go down the road of healing, so you can, and also, people, what I think that they should also have is being open and honest, because some people are honest, but they're not open. So I don't really necessarily see that as honesty, but hey, so I am including both. Not being rude, not being, when someone is rude and they're like, well, I'm just being honest. No, you're being rude. That's different. So honesty, not rudeness. And you can say that based on, when the same story comes up, maybe in a week or a month or 2 months, that, that's not what you told me. You had a different spin on it, different ending, different, things that they went, especially like if their friends around or their exes are around, and they're saying the same story differently, and this person does not disagree with them, or later on they they just like nod and like sit there. And I remember when I was with this guy and I asked them, I'm like, you told me this story was like this, and they're like, no, I didn't. When someone says that, run. Like, if you're 100% sure what they told you, if this is how the story went, and one day they say, no, I didn't, please go. Like, go, run, break up with them. If it's your friend, just don't meet with them, just slowly disappear from their life. If you don't like, explain to them like in a nice way that you don't want to spend time with them, there is a nice way. But hey, if you're not that type of a person, just slowly, don't have time for them, don't meet up with them, don't it took me so many times for a person to do that I'm like, wait a second, why is this a pattern? Why is this, like, I know you said, and so many times you're like, I wish I recorded this so I can let you know, yes, you did say it. And this could have happened like a day before or something. You didn't even have to be like weeks, and all of a sudden, no, I didn't. When you have that, and it's a fact that they said that, like, you're not gaslighting someone, you're not making stuff up, but maybe they've been caught, or they changed their mind, or it's fine. Again, this is fine. It's fine for someone to change their minds. Keep that in mind. If someone says no and they said yes before, obviously in time and whatnot, they explain why to no, etc. If they had a better offer for something, or once in a lifetime chance, let's say this happened. So this person agreed to go out with you, and wherever you're going, and day or 2 days before that, 3 days before that, they said, listen, this amazing thing happened. I probably, I got a ticket to go to this place. I'll probably never get it. It's, once in a lifetime opportunity. Is it okay, if we just skip it or change it to some other date? I would never go, how dare you cancel on me? If it's the last minute, yes. Like, this isn't right. If I'm like waiting somewhere, getting ready to go outside of the door, unless it's something, again, came up, like proper came up. But I would never go like, how dare you, you have something that you've dreamed of, something that you didn't even know could happen, something, go. I'll never say how bad of a person someone is, or it's okay to change, change opinions, change your mind. Also coming in terms with how you change your minds. Why did you change your mind? Do you all of a sudden just, I would always like to know an explanation to that. But even if someone were to say, can you just please cancel, please don't ask why, just, I would say, fine, it's what friends do, it is okay. So you have to know from what point of view they're coming from how they were up till that moment. There are so many. Obviously, the most common one is someone is treating the waiter badly. Don't ever be near that person, ever. Anyone, waiter, someone who cleans, someone who, even the people that empty our bins. My daughter and I, because my daughter loves lorries, loves, that the whole machinery, and also people that come out of them, that she always likes to say hi and wave and, watch them empty the bins. So I stand there with her and we wave together. I'm never gonna look down on them. It's still a job. They're still people. So if you have someone in your life, you meet someone that is looking down on people that, have those types of jobs, like, again, leave. Just move on. So yeah, I only mentioned a few of these here because, and it's already like half an hour. I mean, I can go on and on about this, but these are for me some of the main ones. If a partner says they're gonna do something, they don't do it, and they don't call you, they try to play some sort of a game, they, say one. I'm just thinking back, like how many times I had the signs for so many things, and me was the one making excuses for them, and they didn't even think that they were doing a bad thing. Well, it wasn't my fault, but it wasn't like this, but it, always defending, and always also what I read. Now, this might go for women as well. However, not necessarily, because I've seen a lot of women getting angry over nothing. So this might not go from women, maybe because of the hormones, or, or just the way the femininity goes. I mean, I'm not sure why this, you can look up, biologically, or, why is it like this? So when, women get upset over something, because I've seen it, because I don't get upset that easily, but I've seen, women majorly getting upset over nothing, and, boys that are pretending to be men through tantrums. But anyway, when you see a man, I'll just say man, just in case, when you accuse them or something, or just, tell them, I've seen this, I've seen that, what's that about? If they get defensive, if they get angry, if they start attacking you, like verbally, and, God forbid if it's something else, or if it's verbally but really bad, like just call the police, But if they start, getting mad and how dare you accuse me, blah, 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 it's basically a confirmation that they did it. And I had so many examples of that, because I always said, and whether because this is my belief that this happened, let me know if you did something bad so we can sort it out. Bad, what I mean by bad, you know, cheating or, you know, whatever. I mean, it maybe so many, it doesn't have to be like cheating, but you know, something, you did something wrong. Instead of, I hate when I find out from someone else. Not hate. Hate is too of a strong word, but I don't trust this person anymore. Because I always get the evidence, always, and through some random situations that, you know, I'll just say this one story. Let me see what the time is. Do I have the time? Yeah, I'll have to end soon. I was dating this guy, and I, for some whatever reason, had this, like, sort of in the back of my head, you're probably cheating me with someone. And he's like, no, I don't do that. I would never do that. You're the only one for me, blah, blah, blah. But you know, my intuition. And I'm thinking, okay, it's not necessarily, again, he didn't react like that. He was a bit like, you know, why would you accuse me of that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway. And I said, fine, you know, it's again, I was in my teens, naive, whatever. 18, 19, something like that. So I wasn't like, anyway. My mate at the time goes to this club, and they had like private separates, we call them, I don't know, so no one else can see them, but from that place you can see the stage where the band is. So my mate goes on the stage to take a picture of the singer that she knew that first of all, I didn't even know where she went. I didn't know she, you know, obviously didn't know where he went, or if he did tell me, I didn't know who he was with. Anyway, she was there taking the picture. As she turned around, she saw him in this booth. I think that's what you would say it in English. Where again, only place where you can see that booth is from the stage, because like it's closed with curtains or whatnot, from everyone else to see. And she took a picture of him kissing another woman. And she sends me that picture. At the time, you know, we didn't have that good phones, and it was MMS. It wasn't even like, you know. And she sent me the picture, and this was morning that I saw it, or that she sent it, I don't know. And she explains what happened, and I'm thinking like, I told you I'll get the evidence, like. And I also called to ask what happened, who he was with, you know, and obviously he would not tell me like what happened. And then when I started accusing, it was like, how dare you do this, how dare you, yes, but they only kissed, nothing else happened. After that, I went to my car, I went home. Again, this is when someone gets upset, especially a man, it's usually because they're, you know, saying, yes, I did bad, shit. So yeah, I was just like, honestly. And every single time someone did me wrong, when I even sensed it like in my gut, but like I couldn't prove it, I found the evidence. Sooner or later, sometimes it happened a bit later. Too late, not too late. It wasn't too late. I just, again, choose to like ignore it. But yeah, don't ignore it. And like I said, I always get the evidence, like I always get proof. And when I confront the person with the proof, they get angry at me. Why am I in the wrong? I just like discovered what you did. Like, instead of like apologizing to me, and which I've never gotten, by the way. Like the men I've dated would usually, you know, now go against me because of trying to do, you know, shove away the fact that what they did, you know, is now I'm the problem. So but there are men that are like, no, I'll change, I promise, I'm sorry, blah blah blah. And again, some people might change, however, don't give more than, you know, you gave them the one chance, they messed up, so this is the second chance. And if they don't even show this side, let them explain to you how they'll change. Them saying, oh, I don't want to cheat. Oh, I feel bad after I do it. Oh, I felt awful when that happened. I will never do it again. What steps will you make not to ever do it again? This is really important. It's not like, you've seen it on the, you know, Kardashians. I'm hoping I'm allowed to mention them. When Chloe had been cheated on, you know, Tristan cheated on her. oh, I'll never do it, oh, I feel bad when I do it. And then I remember when Kylie said, well, why do you keep doing it then? You know, so he did not make steps. Let them always tell you what steps they will make. Will they seek psychiatrists, psychologists? Will they get help from them? What steps will they work on their healing? Get, you know, therapy, get treated, get what, you know, what can you do not to repeat that again? Not just, oh, I'll never do it again, I felt bad, I feel awful, I'm sorry, you know, please forgive me, whatnot. No, no, no. How will you never do it again? What will you do to stop yourself from doing that again? For some people, it might be altogether not going out. If they're too, you know, but still, they should be able to go out and not, you know, there are many, many ways where one can have that like chance, and they say, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's what's a strong man does, what men, proper men, will do. They'll have that, oh, I could do this, but no, I'm not gonna do that because it might hurt my partner that I'm with, my children if we have children. You know, it's not a man, it's not a mature, they may be in man's outfits, like, you know, they may seem like an adult, but they're definitely not mature, and I don't like that. I've also dated a guy that would say, you know, I like being like a child, I like, and there's a way that some people disguise themselves behind that as I'm immature. So make sure, yes, you can have a humor like a child, you can have what's the word in English? Curiosity like a child. You can have adventurous spirit like a child. That's different. Be happy like a child. Smile a lot. Have laughter like a child. Make other people happy. Give them warmth like a child. However, the difference between that and I like being like a child is the maturity. When you are an adult, you can have all of like this, but are you childlike or are you mature? Because we all know kids are immature, and it's fine because they're kids. But once you're an adult, you're supposed to be a mature adult. Mature adult does not mean I'll be strict, does not mean I'll be tough, does not mean I'll be grumpy, none of that. So also this could be one of your signs. When someone says that, I like to be like a child, let them explain to you in what way. When someone talks about compromise, let them explain to you, ask them, what do you, mean by that? If you discuss with someone about God, what is your definition of that? If someone says, I love you, what do you see love is? Because for me, love doesn't hurt. For me, love doesn't put pain on someone. There's no such thing as tough love. People made it up so they can disguise them being tough. But it's because I love you. No, no, no. So when you talk about some topic with someone else, also ask them, what do you mean by that? What is your definition of that? Not let's go through definition on Google. What is your definition when you speak about that? What do you mean by that? That is also a lot of, that's what we learned at uni. Again, I need to check with, okay, I have done. That's what we also learned at uni. I remember our professor, by the way, this professor and his wife were both, were our professors, and we knew they were married, whatever. But I remember him coming to this class, and maybe I'm the only one who noticed this. And he's like, also, how do you know when someone says I love you that they mean what you mean I love you? Maybe they say I love you and then years later you find out their I love you, it's not the same as your I love you. And I remember sitting there thinking, poor guy, because obviously the way he said it, the way he expressed it, it was so personal. And whether they got over it or not, I don't know. I mean, they've been married like for decades and maybe 3 decades or whatnot. But I remember thinking like, poor guy, because the way, again, it's not just teaching, he's really, really passionate about it. And, it's personal. You can see it's personal behind it. And again, I don't think anyone else noticed this. But I remember thinking like, but again, he did, did have a point. How do you know when someone says I love you, what their I love you means? What, ask. So also know to ask. Also, is that person vulnerable? That's another red sign. Like, if this person does not cry, does not feel like a strong person if they cry or whatnot, that's a huge red flag. Not just because I'm I don't know, men don't cry or babies cry. We have tears for a reason. It's cleansing. It's getting stuff out of inside of us. And if people are just building it, they're gonna burst one day, and everything is gonna spread on anyone who's around at that time. And now with phones, it can go even further than that. So make sure this person can cry in front of you. This person can let you know what's hurting them without pointing fingers, they can say, listen, I really didn't like when maybe you did this. Can we talk about it? It's also a bad sign if you can't say something because you're afraid that this person will leave you or they'll attack you verbally, or because you've had time and time again the proof that when you mention something like that, you got in trouble for no reason whatsoever. So if you two can work, and maybe if you don't know how to communicate in the beginning better, but you want to trying to sort things out and trying how to communicate without bad-mouthing each other, without throwing glasses or plates at each other, without, insulting each other, even if you can't maybe in the beginning, but you're both willing and are working on making that conversation better, that's fine. But if you see someone that doesn't want to work on it, doesn't want to work on your relationship, it's expecting always for you to be smiley and whatnot. And I've been in a relationship where if I'm feeling bad for longer than like 5 minutes, all of a sudden this person would get annoyed, and now again I would be the problem for whatever reason. And just because I feel bad, I'm not putting the attention on them being the best. Like I said, so many different reasons and so many different red flags, and there are so many more. But I'm hoping if you didn't know any of these, that you really look into them, and to just pay attention and ask yourself, is this a red flag? It's pure, especially if you have kids. Okay, especially if you have kids, even if you plan to have kids, future kids. If this were my kid, or if this were my sister or brother, or if this were my mom, or if this would put yourself in that situation, if you make excuses for someone, would I be okay with them doing that to them? If you wouldn't, go. If you wouldn't, go. I know I said this, but if you wouldn't, go. It's same for my daughter. When I started mostly working on myself when she was born, she deserves, what do I want her to be like when she gets older? And I have to be that. If I'm miserable, if I'm grumpy, if I'm not showing my emotions, if I'm not talking to her, if I'm not holding her, if I'm not telling her it's fine for you to have those emotions, if I'm not happy, if I'm not, the way I treat myself and her, it's what she's gonna grow into. If I'm insecure, and she'll see that in many aspects of my life, even if I don't necessarily show her on purpose, or I think she can't figure out, because when kids are little they sense energy a lot, so that even if you're trying to hide something or not say something, they'll feel it. And I'll tell you, because my parents were trying to hide so many things, and I knew, without having proof, I knew what was up. When you're younger, because maybe you're not verbally, or I don't know why, you don't have maybe those programs a lot, so you're more with your intuition, you're more able energetically, vibrationally to sense these things. So I knew I had to work on myself. I knew I had to overcome certain things. I knew I had to learn to love myself. I knew I had to be high vibrationally as possible. I knew I have to, if I'm not feeling good, or if she's not feeling good. Oh, such a little tiny spider, like such a tiny little, baby, a little bit. Okay, I got carried away. I knew I had to overcome certain things. I had to be the example of who she's gonna become when she's older. I wanted to be strong instead of tough. I wanted to be vulnerable instead of hiding my emotions. I wanted to be able to speak with her in a nice way instead of not speaking at all or shoving things under the rug. I wanted to let her know if I'm angry, I am angry now. I wanted to let her know if I'm sad, I'm sad now. Do you know how many times I just say, if let's say I see a scene in the film, which, you know, any film or series or something that it's sad, I cry, and then she would ask me, Mom, are you sad? And I say yes, and she just comes and gives me the biggest hug ever. But I don't want to cry and be sad and like, oh, I'm happy. Like, no, I'm not. In that, I'm not gonna lie. That's another thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. If something is gonna hurt, let's say she needs to get a shot, I tell her this is gonna hurt. Because if I tell her this isn't and then it hurts, she's not gonna trust me anymore. So also you need to project what you want others to do. And also if you make excuse for someone, ask yourself, if this were my child and she finds a boyfriend one day, obviously not now, one day, would I like this person to treat her like that? Would I be okay with that? Or would I like want to punch him? Then it's a no for you as well, whether it's relationship, again, romantic, partner, whatnot. Even some family members. Even some family members I had to stop speaking to. If they were to call me tomorrow and said, I need help, can you help me? Can I stay at your... I'll be say, fine, yes. I'm not gonna say, you know, you never existed in my life and, you know, I wish you bad. If they were to call me tomorrow and say, listen, it's urgent, I know we haven't been speaking for years, I need your help, what can I do? Yes. However, you know, everything that we've been through, you thinking you've done the right thing, me not agreeing with that, me alone trying to repair it for years and you don't even making any sort of an effort. Again, a lot of things that, you know, not many people know. And I'm like, you know, I can't do this anymore. And it's just better for us not to continue speaking or texting or anything like that. Again, if they were to contact me and say it's urgent, I need your help, I would say fine. If, you know, can I stay at your place? Come, it's, you know. So yeah, and that's the way it is. Love you. I need to go and yeah, get ready to pick my girl up from school. Hope this video is helping you. If you have any other, if you've waited this long and if you watched actually this long, please subscribe, please. There are a lot of you that are returning, and keep, probably because when you once watch a video, another video, when it comes up, it pops up, so you don't have to be, but it helps me. If you watched by now, please subscribe, like this video, comment below if you need anything else for me, if you want any topic for me to you know, talk about, and I'll see you next time. Love you, bye. Love you, guys. Love you guys, bye.